Today in Washington, taking the first steps in the transition to their new life as the next first couple. While the president-elect met with President Obama in the Oval Office, Mrs. Trump visited with First Lady Michelle Obama. They toured the White House residence and reportedly talked about raising kids in the White House. Trump's 10-year-old son, Barron, is obviously about the same age as Malia Obama was when her family moved into the White House in 2008. Randy Kay tonight takes a look at Mrs. Trump's path to First Lady.
It will be my honor and privilege to serve this country. I will be an advocate for women and for children.
Melania Trump, just days before learning she would be the next First Lady of the United States. At this speech in Berwyn, Pennsylvania, she spoke of her love for this country as a little girl growing up under communist rule in Slovenia.
We always knew about the incredible place called America. America was the word for freedom and opportunity. America meant if you could dream it, you could become it.
Throughout the race, Melania was somewhat of a reluctant campaigner, often staying home with the couple's young son Barron. The Trumps reportedly have a cook but no nanny. Early on in the campaign, she was more often seen than heard. In fact, it wasn't until the Wisconsin primary in April that Melania officially stumped for her husband.
I'm very proud of him. He's a hard worker, he's kind, he has a great heart. He's tough, he's smart.
In March, during an interview with Anderson Cooper, Melania shared how she feels about being compared to Jackie Kennedy.
I see around that they compare me to Jackie Kennedy. It's an honor, but of course we're in 21st century and I will be different. And she had a great style and she did a lot of good stuff. But this is a different time now.
As a Slovenian immigrant, Melania will be only the second foreign-born First Lady and the first in modern times. President John Adams' wife, Louisa Adams, was also born outside the United States in London. She was the First Lady nearly 200 years ago. Melania Knaus, as she was formerly known, became a naturalized citizen in 2006. At 5'11", she was once a successful model, meeting Donald Trump at a New York Fashion Week party back in 1998. She told People magazine she thought he had, quote, sparkle, and later became his third wife. Melania once graced the covers of glamour magazines and sold her own line of jewelry on QVC. She also appeared in this Aflac commercial. Aflac! As First Lady, Melania, who is 46, plans to focus on women and children. She hopes to end cyberbullying and teach children to treat others with compassion.
We have to find a better way to talk to each other, to disagree with each other, to respect each other.
From Fifth Avenue to Pennsylvania Avenue, Melania Trump will soon be First Lady. Randy Kay, CNN, Orlando, Florida.
And joining me now are CNN political commentators Maria Cardona and Amanda Carpenter and Anna Navarro, also CNN chief political commentator Gloria Borger. I mean, it is, Gloria, they're both obviously very strong women in different ways with different paths to the White House, and yet they do have this commonality of, they're going to be raising, in the case of Melania Trump, a son in the White House.
And I think both of them wanted to be protective of their children, and I think that's clearly what they talked about today. I also think that Michelle Obama took a while to find her way and what she wanted to do, and she ended up, along with Jill Biden, doing something for veterans' families, which became her big thing in the White House. I think Melania has already said that, and people have, made their jokes about her husband and his tweeting, et cetera, but it's a serious issue, and she can have an impact if she can take advantage of it, and that's it's a difficult road for a First Lady.
Maria, certainly Democrats expected obviously Hillary Clinton to win and expected more women, I think, to be supportive of Hillary Clinton. As you look at the election results, I mean, what went wrong? Because, you were convinced Hillary Clinton was going to win.
Absolutely. Not only were we convinced she was going to win, we were convinced that she was going to get a majority of college-educated white women, and she didn't, or college-educated white voters, and she didn't. That, from what I'm seeing of the information that has come in since then, that spectrum of the electorate started eroding. College-educated white women and men started eroding. That spiked after the Access Hollywood tape for obvious reasons, especially the support among women. But then with the FBI and the WikiLeaks, that started to go down. And there was no additional scandal involving women with Donald Trump to be able to offset that. And so I think that a lot of these women who were Republican-leaning but were disgusted by Donald Trump, with the FBI letter, I think they started thinking, okay, maybe not so much. Frankly, what the Republicans were saying, I think ended up being true. They didn't want another scandalous, person in the White House. They kind of were sick of the status quo. The status quo and the WikiLeaks stuff, I think, started sticking to her yet again, and it really drowned out her ability to get through on the family economics message.
Amanda, do you agree with that?
Yeah, I think a lot of the fundamentals were just against Hillary Clinton. It was going to be a Republican year, and she positioned herself as the establishment candidate. She actually ran on being Obama's third term. I heard Republicans years ago saying, wouldn't it be great if we could convince everyone she would be Obama's third term? It was totally a gift, and I think the Access Hollywood tapes were very bad for Trump, but when the other things came out, it reminded everyone of her significant flaws, character issues, national security risks. It all just kind of came together in the perfect storm. And I know Republican women who were very concerned about Donald Trump's comments towards women. And they said, well, that's personal to me, but these other things outweigh that at this point in time.
Yeah, and I mean, what a lot of Trump supporters all along, Kellyanne Conway was one of them who we talked to in the last hour, was saying all along that there's an enthusiasm gap. You have more people who are enthusiastic about Donald Trump, and we certainly saw that in the results. Though fewer Republicans voted for Trump than voted for McCain or Romney, a lot fewer, by many more millions, voted for Hillary Clinton than voted for Obama.
Well, we knew it from the start, right, that both these candidates had historic low approval ratings amongst Americans. And we also knew from the start that Hillary Clinton had a likability problem and had a trustworthiness problem. And then there was this drip, drip, drip during the entire campaign coming out of the emails issues. If you tell me, to tell you what this campaign should have been called, it should be called Sex, Lies, and Videotapes and Emails. We had the email story go on for 18, 19 months. They were never able to address it properly because it never ended.
And it also reaffirmed, it wasn't just out of the blue, it reaffirmed all the pre-existing beliefs and concerns about Hillary Clinton.
And let me tell you, if I was a Democrat, I would be so upset and disappointed right now at the Clintons, at Hillary Clinton, at Bill Clinton, at Clinton World, because they knew they were going to run 8 years later. They knew what the scrutiny that came with running for president was, and they needed to have behaved in an impeccable manner that would have passed muster and would have not brought back all these memories of Clinton scandals.
Yeah,
they were never able to overcome the trustworthiness.
They would dispute that.
But here's the thing we learned. We learned that women don't just vote for women because they're women.
Yeah.
And I think that what the Clinton campaign believed is that Donald Trump was making the gender argument for them because of the Access Hollywood videotape. They really didn't have to do that.
Well, they believe the same thing with Latinos and with African Americans.
Exactly.
They're going to come out and vote against Donald Trump.
And
You've got to give people something to vote for.
Right. And what they discovered was that non-college educated women went against them 2-1. They voted very much like their husbands.
Right.
And millennial women always believe there's going to be a woman president someday, so it doesn't have to be this woman.
That's exactly right. The white millennial women also did not come out and dress for her, but non-white women in all categories came out in droves for her.
We got to leave there. Thank you. Good discussion. Just ahead, another surprising result in one of the most unpredictable elections